Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda. Yes, I am hot. First of all, I live in North Dakota, and everybody says, oh, it's not hot up there. It's 94 degrees right now. So I get that it's not San Antonio 108, 110, but it's 94 degrees, and that's still hot. Anyway, I went to Barnes & Noble today and did a thing. And I walked around, and then I saw the table for blind date with a book, and I've never done it, and I've always wanted to, and I was like, okay, I'm doing it. They had one fantasy and one sci-fi that I couldn't really decide between, so I got them both. So I'm going to open them up and read them in this vlog, and we're going to see what I think, if I think that it matches what it says on the cover or the description, and if I like it or not. On our way back, though, from Barnes & Noble, we stopped by our friend's house, and she has miniature horses. So here is a little clip that I got of the miniature horses as we were walking up to say hi. That is also why I'm hot, but I've got to open these books. I want to find out what they are. Okay, I think I know what this one is. I'll tell you how I got spoiled, but first I'm gonna read it. A beautiful, deep winter story full of magic and monsters and the sharp edge of growing up. A clever, stalwart girl determined to forge her path in a time when women had few choices. Fantasy. Now, I think that this is The Bear and the Nightingale. And the reason I think it is because when the guy scanned it, it was the last book that he scanned. And on the screen, it said bear. And so that's the only thing I can think of. I know it takes place in winter. See, I was right. The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. I'm actually excited about this. I was wanting to read it anyway, so that's good. That's book number 1. Okay, then the sci-fi book says, a comfort woman as she claims her agency, a soldier questioning his allegiances, and a non-binary hero out to save the solar system. I was like, I have to get this. It's the only sci-fi and it sounds amazing, and I have no idea what it could be. First, I thought it was Murderbot, but I've already read the first 2 Murderbot diaries, and I don't think I would describe them that way at all. So hopefully, it's not Murderbot. Oh. It's not. What? I saw this in there. The First Sister. Huh. I have never even heard of this. All right, it's by Lyndon A. Lewis. This is book number 2. I'll see if I like them when we're done. I'll check in when I start reading one or the other, but I just had to go ahead and open them on our way home. Good morning. It's not that early in the morning. It's 7:30 right now. Django says hi. But I had to get up to take a friend to the airport at 4. Well, I woke up at 4:50 this morning so I could get ready or get dressed and then go get her to take her to the airport. So anyway, Django thinks it's very cold. He's just shaking. Okay, so he's all bundled up. He just got his sweater on, so he'll warm up in just a second. He's going to lay up here with me. And I wanted to talk about The Bear and the Nightingale. So I am just this far. It says 30% on audio, but I am just on page 100, 104. And it reads like a historical fiction that has like some magical elements in it, possibly. So it is clearly set in the northern part of Russia. And it's like a 2-week trip for them to get to Moscow. And a set a long time ago in the past. I don't know. They're doing, the dad went to go get a wife because his wife died years ago and he thinks he needs help raising his younger children. So I don't know. It's not that I don't like it and I'm not enjoying it. It's just more of a kind of slow paced character thing, which right now I do like the characters. I just feel like it's moving a little bit slow, and it's not even that long of a book. So I think it's like 300 pages, somewhere around 350. So I just am going to keep going, but I think I'm not going to read it right now during the day. I think I might pick it up again tonight and try it tonight some more. Anyway, I just wanted to check in and tell you where I was reading my blind date book and see what I think about it as we keep going. things are starting to happen. We've had some mysterious gifts that have been given to people, and waiting for the youngest girl to get a little bit older, and now that's happening. So I will say on audio, I think the narrator is doing an amazing job. But anyway, we will see how this goes later today. Okay, first of all, I am this close to being done with the book right here. But this is not normally a book that I would have picked up or a book that I thought I would enjoy. Like, let me tell you at the top. First of all, this is apparently Catherine Arden's debut novel, which, what? But here's what it says. Arden's debut novel has the cadence of a beautiful fairy tale, but is darker and more lyrical. So usually those words are not like, ooh, let me pick this up words. Like, if I hear them, I'm usually like, okay. Anyway, I am all the way on page 280 going to read you a quote from this book. It gives nothing away. I'm not on page 280. I'm almost on page 290, but I highlighted this section. You can barely see with my little pink highlighter. Again, it doesn't give anything away, but I have to read it to you. This sums up who this girl is. Also, the narrator does an amazing job. She is doing it with a Russian accent, and I love it so much. Anyway. All my life, she said, I have been told go and come. I am told how I will live, and I am told how I must die. I must be a man's servant and a mare for his pleasure, or I must hide myself behind walls and surrender my flesh to a cold, silent God. I would walk into the jaws of hell itself if it were a path of my own choosing. I would rather die tomorrow in the forest than live 100 years of the life appointed me. I was like, girl, this sums up who she is absolutely, completely, and I love this. Like I said, it's not normally a book I would pick. If I had seen these buzzwords, I wouldn't have picked it. But the description that they put on the blind date book thing made me want to pick it up, and I did, and I'm in love. I'm finishing it tonight. And then I will come back in the morning and let you know my thoughts, and then I'll be starting the next book. But I cannot believe how much I am loving this book. Well, I finished it. It was so good. I don't know. And this is a series, but I might just be happy right here where I am. I'm not obsessed to the point that I've got to read the rest of them and find out what's going on in the rest of them. And so I'm going to leave it on my want to read list that has over 1,000 books on it. And when I get there, if I get there, then I'll read it. I'm not going to rush out to get the second one. But this first blind date with a book was so very successful. I'm not going to harp on what I thought about it, what I said about it yesterday. It ended really well. And or for me, what I thought was a really good ending. And I am perfectly fine with saying this is done, and I really liked it. Now, I have just started The First Sister. I'm going to show you the little clip of me reading what the description was. A comfort woman as she claims her agency, a soldier questioning his allegiances, and a non-binary hero out to save the solar system. Okay, so this book is already really good and way different than I expected. It's called The First Sister, but we're getting 3 different perspectives right now, and only one of them has anything to do with the sisters. But from what I can tell, the sisters are a group it's a religious group, but they're kind of like priests for this goddess. But the commanders of whatever station, this is a sci-fi, it is set in outer space. They're on a bunch of different planets all around Earth, Mars. I know Mars, maybe Jupiter they've talked about, but for sure they're on Earth and Mars and a couple of other places. And then there are just space stations in general. Anyway, if you are one of these sisters, you can be used any way that the soldiers see fit to use you, unless you're the first sister, which means that the commander of that group gets to appoint one of them as the first sister, and then that first sister has to serve only the commander. Their voices have all been taken away because the commanders are supposed to, well, not just the commanders, the soldiers are supposed to confess to them. Well, if they could then turn around and sell all their confessions, nobody would tell them anything, I guess. I don't know. So anyway, no, they can't speak. They do have a certain kind of sign language that they use with each other and with their handlers kind of situation. Anyway, I'm barely 20% into this book, but the First Sisters and the whole way that works is very cool. And then we have a couple of soldiers that we're following. One that we've been told has become a traitor, and is now working for the other side. And then their old partner is got to go and figure out what's going on. So we've got that happening on one side, and then the First Sister and all that drama happening on the other side. And it is very interesting. I'm wondering if those two things are going to come together at all, but I love the dual POV. I mean, not dual, there's actually 3, but I love the multi POV. I always have. They make the books way more enjoyable for me when we get multiple points of view. So I'm going to keep going with the First Sister. I can't wait to see what happens next. Good morning. I finished it. The description of this really just described the 3 main characters, and it was spot on. Like, that is exactly what happened. I enjoyed this book so much. Like, it's called The First Sister, but that's only one of the points of view. I guess that it is kind of the one that anchors it and the one that has the most like shocking reveals revolving around her, the First Sister. But this also leaves you with an idea of what this world is like and potentially what might be coming. So I actually need to find out if there's more in this world. I kind of hate that NPR's blurb about this says stylish. What kind of description is that about a book? Also, I mean, if you're talking about the cover, maybe not a book. This book was so good, so much better than that little blurb on the front. Now here, R.F. Kuang said, wonderfully imaginative and gripping. If you enjoyed Red Rising or Mass Effect and wanted to see more women and queer characters, this is absolutely for you. I couldn't put it down. I totally agree. This was so good. So good. I don't even know how to categorize it, what to put it into. It deals with implants in your brain, and that's how some of the technology works. The reason it's sci-fi is because of that, and also because they've colonized different planets and like. But at its core, to me, it's a book about a woman who didn't have a lot of choices and kind of grew up in an orphanage type situation, and she is discovering things about herself and who she wants to be and how she's going to be going forward. So it's way more about that than it is about the sci-fi stuff. So if you see this in the sci-fi section and you think, I don't know that I want to do that, don't let the sci-fi-ness of it, the sci-fi distinction, keep you from reading this. This is a really good book. And it has minor romance. It's got a sapphic plot line in here, but I wouldn't call it a romance. And it's so good. It's got a ton of things in here about friendship and family dynamics, and I really enjoyed it. I could not have had a better experience with my first blind date with a book. 2 books, and I loved them both. So I will definitely be giving this a try anytime I'm in Barnes & Noble and I see their little interesting things on their blind date with a book table. I will definitely be picking those up to try more things. So that is going to do it. Let me know, not if you've read these books. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have read The Bear and the Nightingale. I would like to know what you think about it. Really what I want to know is, are you moving on to the second book? And if you moved on to the second book, was that a good choice for you? Because I don't know. I feel like I'm good with where this ended. This is a newer book, and I've not seen it going around a lot of places on BookTube. So you let me know if you've read it, and if not, you need to pick it up. I really thought that it was good. I thought it was a really good book. So that is it. I will see you down in the comments and in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.